Welcome in, everybody. Happy Monday. We are riding out a tropical storm here in Sarasota today. The roads are mostly shut down. We drove around yesterday. We did a live yesterday and drove around and checked out how the flooding was, and it wasn't quite flooded yesterday, but it has been raining nonstop all through the night last night, all up until today. It's not raining at the moment. I don't think it might be. Yeah, actually it still is. It's not downpouring like it was. It was downpouring earlier today and like all through the night. So we have gotten a ton of rain. Lots of roads are flooded out. Lots of roads are closed. Lots of power lines are down. We still have power here where we are. We're in a little bit higher, drier of an area. We're more inland. So, we still have flooding on some of the off-roads close by, but we're waiting out this storm. So lots of people didn't go to work today. Everybody's kind of staying home, staying out of the weather while we're kind of just waiting for this storm to pass. And then I'm sure a lot of the cleanup crew and utility vehicles and stuff are going to be out getting power back on and all of that. Like I said, we didn't lose power. We're higher. We're kind of in a higher area, more inland. We're not right close to the shore. So we didn't lose power. We had a few times where the lights flickered here and there, but we are still good. So Sean is working from home. He works from home all the time anyhow, but he is working, and my daughter Alyssa headed out this morning to go to work, and she had to turn around and go home because most all of the main roads to where she works were flooded. So, and then my mom called me this morning and asked, if we'd been out, and I said, no, we haven't been out, but I know it's bad because Alyssa was out, and she said she couldn't get anywhere. So my mom didn't go to work today, so I know a lot of people are staying home today. So we're getting just the aftermath of this tropical storm Debbie. I think it's actually a Category 1 hurricane now. But like I said, it's past us, but we're just getting all the after effects. Hello, Once Upon a Dream. Welcome in. Welcome in, everybody. I am going to do a little bit of crafting today. I am going to start making a book journal for my daughter. She requested a book journal. And so since everything is closed down today and we don't really have any other plans this morning, normally I go out, like Monday mornings are my busy days usually. I go to my warehouse, I pick up all my, orders from the weekend. I get all my packing and shipping done. I run my errands. I go to the post office. I do all of that normally on Mondays, but everything is closed because of this storm. So I'm home here today and we are just kind of hanging out. And so I wanted to start this book journal for Alyssa. Alyssa, if you've been following me for a long time, you will know Alyssa is my daughter. She's 21. And she is an avid reader. She reads multiple books a week. And so she asked me if I could make her a book journal so that she could kind of rank the books that she reads and, journal about them and kind of keep track of them. So that is what I'm going to start doing in my live stream here today. So welcome in. If you are new, please hit that subscribe button, turn on that little notifications bell, and make sure it's set to all so that you receive notifications whenever I post. Also, I just posted a brand new Halloween DIY video that just went up on my channel this morning. It was supposed to go up yesterday, but with the storm, we were actually cleaning and doing some stuff outside to try to prepare for the storm coming through. So I didn't get a chance to upload it last night, but it is uploaded today. So you can go check out that. That's a super cute little vintage Halloween DIY video. So yeah. That is the plan. So in my project today, I picked out some fabrics. I talked to Alyssa and I was like, what colors do you want? And she likes more muted, subtle colors. She likes greens and kind of teal blues. And so I picked out 3 vintage fabric colors that I kind of thought would fit her personality. She kind of likes the dark, moody, cottagey colors. So I thought this was kind of a good color scheme to start with. So I'm going to put those over there. I also have a vintage handkerchief that I'm going to try to incorporate in this. This isn't going to be a huge elaborate project. I'm going to keep it very simple. I don't want to put a whole bunch of like stuff in it because that's not her. She wants more writing space. So I am just going to give her something like a journal just to write in, more personalized. So I'm actually using I think this is a Wheat Thins box. I saved, I think it's a Wheat Thin cracker box. So that's what I'm going to be using for this. Good morning from Tucson, Arizona. I love Tucson, Arizona. Thank you. Yes, I know we got a lot of flooding in our area, a lot of flooding. Our whole downtown we're in Sarasota, Florida. Our whole downtown, I would say 95% of the roads are closed from flooding. We were out and about driving around yesterday and it wasn't too bad yesterday, but about a half an hour after we crossed over the bridge, they closed the bridge down. So we had impeccable timing yesterday, because that was my biggest worry, was that we were going to get stuck on the bridge that goes out to the islands, and we literally just made it back over. Because if you get stuck out there, there's really no place to go. You're stuck out there. And there's two bridges that get over there. There's the one Ringling Bridge that goes from Sarasota over, and then there's the bridge in Bradenton that kind of heads to like Cortez, which is in the Anna Maria Island area. And so if one floods, chances are the other one floods as well. So there's really no way to get back inland. So that was my biggest concern when we were out and about yesterday, was the flooding and getting back, and we just made it. But yes, from what I've heard is that the bridges have been closed down to get out to the islands, and the downtown area is many of the roads are all flooded out. And so yeah, lots of flooding. Not a whole lot of wind. There is wind gusts going through, but mostly flooding here. So, I mean, when we have hurricane season, I usually worry mostly about the wind in this area, because that's what rips roofs off and all of the other, carports, and does a lot of damage. So we didn't have a lot of wind, but we had a lot of like torrential rain and flooding. So anyhow, what I am doing right now is I just cut up this Wheat Thins crackers box, and we're going to use this for our front and back cover and spine of our reading journal that I'm going to make for Alyssa. So basically I just cut it so that it's like a book. It's already together, and I'm going to kind of go from there. So yes, it was pretty torrential, but I was saying, Tucson, I love Tucson, Arizona. We actually stayed in Tucson on our way home from driving cross country. And that was the one area that I really loved. There was not very many places as we were driving across country that I loved. But Tucson was one area that I loved. It was beautiful there. Yeah, hopefully it's not too long of a recovery. So we get a lot of flooding. We're used to it. We've been living here 3 years now, but we've been coming down here for about 7 years. And, this time of year from like August until like November is the hurricane season. So we're pretty used to the flooding and the weather this time of year. And they're pretty good at like getting things cleared out after the storm. It's just waiting the storm out that's the long part. We've been getting rain now probably 3 days straight. I think this is the third full day that we've been getting pretty much torrential rain. So that's the thing. It's like when it's torrentially raining out, you don't want to drive your car out to like the grocery store or anything, because the flooding gets so bad that you don't know if there's parts of the road that have given away, and you don't want to drive through that flooding road and ruin your car or get stuck somewhere and then be trapped. That's just not a good thing. So it's best to, in this area, to kind of sit tight until it's, till it goes by. But it's the waiting it out that's the tough part, waiting it out, because this has been a really long storm. Like I said, I think this is the third full day that we've been getting like torrential rains. But okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this journal book front, back. I think I'm trying to figure out how I want to cover it, what fabric I want to use. I think I want to use this for the cover. Alyssa is she likes nothing really too frilly, nothing too excessive. So I think I'm going to do the cover just this plain green fabric with like a floral print on it. And I think we're just going to cover the front, spine, and back with this. And I'm going to get some Mod Podge and just put this on. And then I'll cut off the excess. So, I probably should cut off some of it ahead of time so I'm not having to work with all of this fabric. Good morning, M&M Nails. Would you ever do an Etsy tutorial on how to open up my Etsy shop? To be honest, I would do it. However, to be honest, I wouldn't advise anybody to open an Etsy shop right now. I have mine because I've had it for a few years, but I've seriously been considering doing something else. Etsy has changed over the years, not for the good. And I'm not like super crazy about selling on Etsy. And a lot of their policies and stuff are pretty, not good to the seller. And so I don't know. I actually opened a Shopify. I haven't actually officially opened it yet, but I've started a Shopify because I'm considering transferring everything in my Etsy over to Shopify. So I don't know if I would do an Etsy tutorial on starting an Etsy shop, only because it's not something that I can really stand behind. I kind of like to post things that I actually truly can stand behind, and right now I don't think I could stand behind that, if I'm being completely honest. I have my shop because I have almost 700, well, more than 700 items. I have 700 listings, and I have thousands of items because I have multiple items in my listings. So I have a lot of stuff in there, and I've put a lot of time into my Etsy shop. So I can't just shut it down. That's not something that I can feasibly do, but it's not something that, had I known, I probably would have done something different to start. So let's just say that. I probably would have done something different to start. So, yeah, so that's the truth about it. Okay, I'm going to use Mod Podge. And we're going to just glue this fabric down. Let me see if I can find a decent brush. I guess I'll use this one. So yes, I'm using Mod Podge. I'm just going to cover this outside cover of my Wheat Thins box with the Mod Podge. And I'm doing a pretty thick cover on this because I don't like when fabric bubbles. And so you got to do a really thick coat of Mod Podge for it not to bubble. And let's see. Yeah, so this is just kind of a tedious process. It's okay if you get it around the edges a little bit. You kind of want it to go on the edges. So yeah, it's quiet here today. My house is quiet. My house is very quiet today. Everybody's busy. Trying to stay busy in the house while this storm goes by. But I'm just hoping it stops raining here soon. I don't like feeling cooped up in the house. That drives me nuts. I like to get out and do stuff. I usually go to Goodwill bins. Yeah, I was going to make oatmeal cookies, but I got to do this first. Figured I'll do this now. I'll make oatmeal cookies after. That is Sean, everybody. Sean is my husband, and he is working, supposedly. He's probably doing more YouTube watching than working. But I said that I would make oatmeal cookies today, and I will do it, but I want to do this first. I want to feel like I'm actually accomplishing something. Me know. Good to know. I've heard that they take a lot of profit. I will look into Shopify. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. So yeah, I mean, Etsy does take a lot of profit, but to me, it's not just that. Like, I mean, honestly, you have to pay for an online store no matter what. You're paying for the platform. Depending on where you go, you're paying for the platform. My problem with Etsy, my biggest problem with Etsy is that their sellers protection is not the best. And there's a lot of fraud that happens in Etsy as far as people who purchase things and fraudulently try to get away with free stuff, and you have people out there that will order and then they'll say they don't receive their orders, or they'll say that there's stuff wrong with their orders, and Etsy will just take their word for it and give them their money back, and then as a seller you're kind of screwed. So like there's a lot of problems with that I've found. It's happened to me multiple times. I'll have somebody buy something, they'll post a completely different picture on the review of something that I never even sent them, and it will be something completely different, and they'll say that that's what they received, and it's not what they received at all. That's not even what I've never had that specific item in my shop. I've never sent that specific item. And then Etsy will just say, oh, okay, here's your money back, and that's it. And then I'm screwed, and I'm out money. So it's that type of thing that really bothers me about Etsy. Also, it bothers me that there's not more of a, so for instance, if somebody buys something, I have this happen a lot. People don't read descriptions of things. They don't. I don't know what people do. They kind of just buy things on a whim without knowing what they're buying. And they'll buy something, not realize what they're buying, and then they'll just randomly give you a bad review for something. And it's not your fault at all. And they'll even admit that it's not your fault. They'll even say, oh, sorry, didn't read the description, but I'm still giving you a 1 star. And the star rating system affects your store, because if you have a lower star rating, your items don't get seen as much. And so then, you can't do anything about that. You can't do anything about justifying that. Like, buyers can pretty much do whatever they want, and sellers can't do anything. We're just kind of at the mercy, hoping that people are going to be honest and hoping that people are going to not try to scam you. But that's just not the case. I feel like it's just very tough. So, I mean, I've been out a lot of money on different things that I've kind of gotten scammed over on. So that's kind of my main reason for not wanting to do Etsy any longer. It's not really the fees. It really doesn't have anything to do with the fee. It's the seller's support that bothers me. Like, there's not a whole lot of seller support. And so, yeah. All right, so as you can see, I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I am covering my book cover here with the fabric, and I am just cutting corners so that when I fold the fabric over, that my corners aren't overlapping, so that I have like a nice clean corner. So that's pretty much what I'm doing right now, and then I'm gonna Mod Podge these flaps down. What is your Etsy shop name? Shop Wicked Vintage is my Etsy shop. My links are all in my bios of my YouTube, so you can go check out that. I have a lot, I sell mostly vintage stuff. Lately I've been doing a lot of DIY crafting supplies, some digital uploads. I am in need of more cookies because you ate all the chocolate chip. I know. Yes, go check it out. It's Shop Wicked Vintage. So I have a very large warehouse. Last year we decided to, so when we opened my Etsy shop, we had just moved to Florida, and we downsized to a smaller house when we moved down here. So we didn't have a whole lot of space for inventory. Well, I had been using my lanai for most of my inventory when I first started my Etsy shop, and it just took over. It outgrew my living arrangements. So we decided to get a warehouse. So we have a warehouse. It's a good size warehouse, and it is full of vintage thrifted items that I have. A majority of them I have in my shop. I have a lot of stuff that I haven't even listed in my shop yet. And the reason I haven't listed a lot is because I haven't really wanted to add more things to my Etsy shop until I kind of know what I'm doing. Like if I want to pursue my Shopify more so, or if I want to I was thinking about actually opening up like a brick and mortar type shop as well, or getting a booth in like a vintage mall or a vintage market. So I have a lot of stuff, but we thrift once or twice a week. And most of the time lately I've been thrifting for crafting supplies, but every once in a while I'll find something vintage that I know is valuable and I'll purchase it, and it will just go right into our warehouse waiting to be listed for sale. So that's kind of what we have going on right now. But to be honest, and I've kind of always felt this way. I love vintage. I love collecting vintage. Sean and I, my husband, we have a lot of fun searching for vintage and thrifting. But to be honest, I really enjoy crafting with vintage more so than actually like selling vintage. I enjoy making things. I always have. I love doing DIYs, and that's how my channel started, is by doing DIYs. And so that's kind of more of what I have wanted to do. So I was actually considering opening up like a vintage crafting studio. So that's kind of maybe a possibility as well. So I don't know. I guess it's just going to happen when it happens. Whatever the right thing is will just happen. I found that's how my life works in general. I feel like we kind of, do things as it's given to us. And that's how it was like when we moved down here. It just happened to work out. We sold our house really quickly. We bought a couple houses down here. We flipped a couple houses. We're actually flipping the house that we're in right now. This is kind of going to be our vacation/beach house. I think we're going to keep this house because it's close to the beach, and I do like having a place close to the beach. So I think we're going to keep this one as like our vacation place, and then rent this one out, on occasion. But this I don't think is going to be our place where we're going to be for much longer. I can't see that we're going to be in this area for maybe another year. I don't know. We've been looking for other places. So I'm thinking that I'd like to be more inland, closer to Disney is kind of where I want to be. So that's kind of why we haven't done anything business-wise, because I don't want to get tied here business-wise. I would like to like figure out where we're going to be first before we make any more moves. I love the keychains you're making, so cute. Oh, thank you so much. Aw, thank you so much. That's so sweet. I actually have been having so much fun with those tassel charms. So I'm actually calling them Loungefly charms, like for Disney Loungefly backpacks, because they fit perfectly on a Loungefly backpack. I started making them for journals, like for the journal binding. Like I'll put them on the back of like a journal, but I've realized that they fit perfectly on the Loungefly backpacks. So that's kind of what I'm marketing them as, but I'm having a lot of fun making them. And I have a Nightmare Before Christmas line that I'm in the process of making. So that will be released here soon. I want to get them released for like the Halloween part, the Disney, Not So Scary Halloween party. So, all right. So as you can see, I have wrapped my fabric. This is going to be the front cover of my journal book. And then this will be the inside cover. And I've wrapped my fabric all around the inside. And I've gone ahead and put Mod Podge all around the inside, like, seams of the fabric. I didn't do right here. I need to get this done. And that will just kind of hold this down really good. And I'm going to let this dry a little bit. And then I'm going to put an inside cover on, like some sort of a fabric on the inside. I don't know why I didn't do this side. I thought I did. All right. Let that dry for a minute. I want to wipe the glue off my mat here. Yeah, the charm tassels are so fun to make, and they're very, like, you can do them without a whole lot of thought. So what I will do is I'll just take a whole bunch of supplies and like kind of put it in a little basket, and I'll like sit on the sofa and like watch my live streams that I watch. There's a few different live streamers that I like to watch during the day, and so I'll watch my live streamers and just make tassels. So that's a lot of fun to do. They're kind of, I don't want to say they're mindless, but they're not really hard to make. They're pretty easy. All right, let me set this up here for a minute. I gotta get a paper towel and dry this down. And I literally am still in my pajamas today. I have not even gotten dressed. I'm still in my pajamas. It's one of those days where I got up this morning. I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing anything. I'm going to stay in my pajamas all day and craft and kind of do the things I want to do, and maybe put on a movie this afternoon and all of that. I actually have one of my live streamers on in the background right now that I like to watch. Do you guys like to watch live streamers ever? I watch a lot of Disney live streamers. A couple of my favorites are That Crazy Disney Lady. I watch her. I also watch Janelle, Disney Parks with Love, I think it is. Ron on the Go. There's a few other vloggers as well that I watch. It's funny, most of the vloggers I watch are Disney vloggers. I've done some Disney vlogs myself. We actually started doing Disney vlogs back, I don't know, years ago. My daughter was 7 or 8 maybe when I posted my first Disney vlog. So I've been vlogging a long time, but I don't know. I don't get a whole lot of views on my vlogs, my Disney vlogs. I get a lot more views on my crafting. But I still like to do it. And I kind of do it more personally because I like to do it so that I have a place to keep all of our like memories of going places, and that way I can go back and see them, and family can go see them, and friends can go see them. And so that's kind of more why I do a lot of like our travel vlogs. But I mean, I definitely have had people watch my travel vlogs and been like, oh, that's cool, I didn't know about that. Because we've been going to Disney for a long time. Sean and I have been going to Disney together since 97. Our first trip to Disney was in 97. I've been going to Disney since I was a kid. My first trip to Disney was in 85, I think. I think my family went to Disney in 1985 for the first time. And I was 5 years old. And my sister, I think, was just born. She was a baby. So that was my very first trip to Disney. And we just went to Magic Kingdom. That was it. And we might have gone to SeaWorld. And we went to I remember we went to the I think it was Gatorland. And then we went to Bach Towers. Like I said, I was 5 years old when the first trip. And then ever since then, I've gone back to Disney almost every year. And then we've finally decided to move down here 3 years ago. So now we're annual pass holders. So now we go to Disney a couple times a month at least. Sorry, I'm just washing my brush out. I didn't want my Mod Podge to dry on my paintbrush here. So I'm washing my brush out a little bit. So yes, we've been Disney fans for a long time. My husband, I think Sean went to Disney the first time. Forget when he went the first time. It was the year that MGM Studios opened, I think. I think that's what he said. The first year he went as a kid. But both of us have been going since we were kids. We actually went in 1997 for the first time together. And we were only dating about a year when we went. I think we had both just turned 18 when we went. And so we went that year. We went again in 99. We got engaged. And then we went for our honeymoon. We skipped a year because we went again in 2001 on our honeymoon. And then my daughter was born in 2002. And then we went for her first birthday. And every year pretty much we've gone with her pretty much every year since then. So we've gone many, many, many times. Okay, so for the inside of my book, it's drying nicely here. It's still a little wet, but that's okay. I think I want to do this fabric right here on the inside. I think. Unless I want to do this on the spine. I might do this on the spine. And maybe I'll do this on the inside cover. Let me see. See. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I do this one on the inside cover? Like that? Or should I do this one on the inside cover? I don't know. Can you guys see? I have two options for the inside cover. This one is a little bit thicker. This is almost like a drape material. I think that's what this was. I think this was like a drape fabric swatch, or a fabric swatch for like furniture, because it's very heavy. So I'm thinking this might be better on the spine, and then this might be better on the inside. I think that's what I'm gonna do. You like the brown floral? So I like this one too. I do like this one, but I think I like this one in a smaller piece. I think it's going to be too busy as a bigger piece. So I think I'm going to do this one on the spine, on the outside, and then keep this one on the inside and keep it a little bit more simple on the inside. I think that's what I'm going to do. All right, so this is still a little wet, but that's okay because I'm gonna put more glue down anyhow. That's a lot. I probably put way too much on here, but that's okay. So just like I did on the front, I'm just gonna take this Mod Podge and cover the whole inside with the Mod Podge. Ugh, I put a lot on here. And for my crafting projects like this, I always use the matte Mod Podge. If I'm trying to seal up something, like if I have a project that's painted and that needs to be sealed, then I will usually use the glossy Mod Podge. But for this, I use the matte. Just for anybody, I know that will be a question somebody asks me. It's like a pretty popular question I get, is what kind of Mod Podge do you use? So yeah, I put too much on here. But nice good coating of this. Something right there. Okay. All right, now I'm going to take my fabric and I'm going to try to be careful with how I'm doing this one because I want to leave a little bit of the green fabric. I probably should have cut this ahead of time. Put that right in there. Fold this over. All right, I'm gonna cut this. Try to cut this as carefully as I can, or as straight as I can. I can always cover the edges with something. Already not straight here. Yeah, I probably should have cut this out before I decided to glue it down, but that's okay. It works. Like I said, I usually put something around the edges, around the seams anyhow, when I do journals, so there. Are you answering the questions? What questions? I'm not seeing any other questions, Sean. What questions are there? Because I must not be seeing all the comments if there's other questions. Yeah, and I'm not seeing any other questions. I'm seeing I'm answering things as I'm seeing them. So I apologize if you're asking a question because I'm not seeing anything. All right, so as you can see, I'm just going to trim off this little piece down here. I have glued my inside fabric. His cookie that's probably what he's talking about. He wants to know when I'm going to make cookies. I literally have been on a cookie making spree for the past couple days. I've made 4 dozen chocolate chip cookies and they're all gone. They're all gone. And now he wants oatmeal raisin. So another little tip that I like to give out is I use a flat side of a bone folder. You can use like a ruler or anything like that, and I smooth out all of the bubbles or the edges of the fabric that might not be flat. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just smoothing everything out. Also, what I will do is I will bend my book where it naturally is going to bend, and I'll take my bone folder and rub it right along that seam. And also that's where you'll see some bubbles form on the corners. So I'll make sure those are all pushed down into the glue as well, because you want that all sitting nice and tight when your book is closed up. So I'm going in and doing that right now. All right, so here is kind of the exterior of my book. I'm going to kind of let this dry for a few minutes before I do anything else. I want to put more of this brown floral fabric. I think I'm going to put this on the spine. So I'm going to cut a piece and do just a little bit around the spine, just to give it a little bit more durability. But I want this to dry a little bit before I do that. So I probably will do 3 signatures in this book. This is size-wise. It is, 2 1/4 inches? Yeah, it's 2 1/4 inches. So I'll probably do 3 signatures. And like I said, I tend to do very intricate, lots of detail on the pages of my journal books that I make. I do lots of little added page things. I'll do lots of tucks and pockets and writing spaces, and I'll do all kinds of things. But Alyssa, I think, really is more simple. I think she wants more just writing space. So I think I'm going to include mostly writing space when I pick out all of the pages that I'm going to put in here. So that's probably what I will do. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go back in with my brush and just go around the edges here. I'm noticing a couple of these edges are pulling up. So I'm going to just go back in and cover a couple of these little edges. Like I said, I'm probably going to go around this seam. I might even throw this through the sewing machine and do a stitched edge around this. Actually, I think I'm gonna let this dry and then pull out my sewing machine and do a stitched edge just around this. And then I'll cover the stitched edge up on the inside with some sort of seam binding or something, lace or something. I think that's what I'll do for this one, because I'm sure she's going to be using this a lot. I just don't want it coming apart. So I want to, you know, try to keep it as sturdy as possible, because I'm sure she'll be opening and closing this. I hear sirens. We've had a lot of, so I got a text notification just a little while ago that there was down power lines in the road, and it was creating electrical surges, and for people to not be driving through because I don't know if people had gotten electrocuted through the water. I don't know. It sounds crazy, but I just got a text message about that not too long ago. I still hear thundering in the background too. It's like been nonstop thunder and nonstop rain. Although I don't think it's really raining right now. Doesn't look like it's raining at the moment, which would be good. Okay, I think that's good. I just put a quick little coating just all around the edges of this, just so that I know those edges aren't gonna peel up. But I am gonna go back in and do a stitched edge as well, I think. As soon as this dries, I think I'll stitch that on, and then I probably will stitch on the fabric on the binding. I'm just washing my brush out again. So, let's see. Thirsty. This is, I think, about all that I'm gonna do on this for right now until it dries. So after this, what I'll do is, like I said, I'm gonna stitch the edges. I'm gonna go all around the edges and stitch all of these edges. And then I'm going to stitch on some of that fabric on the spine right here. And then I have this lace. It's a lace handkerchief. So what I was thinking about with this is I was thinking about doing a little on the corner here, like on the corner of my pages. I don't know if you can see. Let me move this up. I was thinking... It's a little vintage handkerchief. I was thinking about doing like a little pocket on the corner, the front and back inside covers with this little vintage lace handkerchief. So I think that is what I'm going to do. It has somebody's lipstick on it still. Yeah, somebody's lipstick on this little vintage lace handkerchief. So that's funny. But yeah, I'll probably use that for some corners. And then I think that I will start working on the papers and figuring out what I want to put for papers in the signatures that I'm going to do in this. And I'll probably do just, I have this right here, which I pulled this out. This might be too thin unless I double it up. But this is candlewick yarn. I might use this for binding the signatures. I thought this matched the lace pretty good. So I think I might use this. I like to use a lot of vintage stuff in when I make these. So this was something that I found at, I think, Goodwill bins. I don't know how old it is, but I think I might use that to bind those signatures. And yeah. So anyhow, I think I'm going to hop off because I can't really do anything while this is drying. I have to let this dry first. But yeah, stick around. I will probably do another live video when I add the signatures into this. So stick around. Be sure you are subscribed. And when you subscribe, hit that little bell and also click on like the drop down menu, and it will say, it will select all so that you receive all the notifications. So whenever I post a video or a live stream or a post on our post page, you'll be notified so that you know that you're kept up to date with our channel. All right, so thank you again if this is your first time stopping in, and make sure you give this a thumbs up, and we will see you in the next video. And hey, go check out that my latest Halloween DIY that I just posted this morning. It's super cute. All right, guys, hope you have a great rest of your afternoon. We will see you again real soon. Take care.